You know how fast online communication is, right? It moves at the speed of light. It's this whole world of inside jokes and viral trends and symbols that we all just somehow seem to understand. But what happens when we don't? What happens when a symbol we thought we knew suddenly means something totally different, something strange, or even something dangerous? So let's just dive right into that. We're going to explore one of the absolute weirdest stories of the internet age, the story of Pepe the Frog. And trust me, this is not just about a meme. Oh no. This is a journey into how we, all of us, create meaning, how that meaning can get twisted and stolen, and maybe how it can be taken back. We're going to solve this puzzle together. And this slide, this just lays out the mystery perfectly. On the one hand, you've got the original Pepe, a simple, kind of chill cartoon frog from a webcomic, right? His whole thing was the catchphrase, "Feels good, man." He was shared by celebrities, he was one of the biggest memes on Tumblr, just a symbol of relatable, everyday feelings. And then you've got this, the exact same frog, listed by the Anti-Defamation League as an official hate symbol, tied to the absolute darkest corners of the web. So how in the world did we get from here? To figure that out, here's our game plan. We'll start with the frog's innocent beginnings, the good old days. Then, we'll track exactly how it was co-opted. After that, we're going to hit pause and actually get some powerful tools, some theories about communication, to understand how this was even possible. Then we'll apply those tools to the battle for Pepe's soul, and finally, we'll see what this one frog's wild story tells us about the huge visual language that we are all speaking every single day. So let's start at the very beginning. Before all the politics, before any of the controversy, there was just a frog in a comic strip. The whole journey starts way back in 2005, on MySpace of all places, in a webcomic called Boys Club. And for years, he was just some minor character. But then in 2008, one page from that comic gets scanned and posted to the image board 4chan. And that was the spark. The people there saw a perfect canvas. They made thousands of versions. Sad frog, smug frog, angry frog. I mean, you could express any emotion imaginable. By 2012, he was massive on Tumblr. And by 2014, actual celebrities, Katy Perry, Nicki Minaj, were sharing him. By 2015, he was, without a doubt, one of the biggest memes on the entire internet. And the creator, this guy Matt Fury, he had such a simple, wholesome idea for his character. In the original comic, another character asks Pepe why he pulls his pants all the way down to use the urinal, and Pepe just says, "Feels good, man." That was it. That was the entire philosophy. It was just about fighting simple joy, this innocent, totally apolitical, feel-good vibe. That was the original meaning. But as we're about to see, what a creator intends is only the very first chapter of a symbol story. And now we get to the turning point. This is where Pepe's journey takes a sharp and, frankly, pretty dark turn. Between 2015 and 2016, that feel-good frog was captured and twisted into something its creator absolutely never intended. It happened incredibly fast, and it was tied directly to the 2016 US presidential election. It started in 2015, when some users on 4chan and other sites began making these deliberately shocking versions of Pepe, mixing the frog with hateful white supremacist and Nazi imagery. Then, in October 2015, the meme leaps into mainstream politics. Donald Trump himself retweets a Pepe version of himself. The link got even stronger when Donald Trump Jr. shared that Deplorables movie poster parody with the frog's face front and center. Well, that got the attention of his opponents, and the Clinton campaign's official website published a whole explainer, labeling Pepe as a symbol associated with white supremacy. The whole cycle was basically complete in September 2016, when the Anti-Defamation League officially added Pepe to its database of hate symbols. Okay, but what's really important here is the nuance that often gets totally lost. When the ADL made this call, they were super clear on this point. They said the vast majority of Pepe memes were not hateful. They got that context was everything. The harmless, feels-good man Pepe that millions of people were using wasn't the problem. The problem was this very specific, weaponized version that had been deliberately created and spread by the alt-right. The symbol itself had been split in two. So how is that even possible, right? How can a symbol just be split like that? To really get to the bottom of what happened to Pepe, we need to step back from the story for just a second and look at the basic rules of how we all communicate, especially with pictures. We need to grab the right theoretical tools for the job. All right, our first tool is called social constructivist theory. I know, it sounds super academic, but the idea is actually simple and really powerful. Meaning doesn't live inside a symbol. a symbol is just an empty bucket. We, as a society, as a community, we're the ones who fill that bucket with meaning through talking and sharing and just interacting with each other over and over. It's a group project. The creator can have an idea, but it's the community of users that ultimately decides what something really means. I mean, just think about the simple heart emoji. There's nothing about that specific red shape that screams love, right? We, as a global community, have collectively decided, through billions and billions of texts and posts and comments, that this shape means love and care and support. We socially constructed its meaning. No one person was in charge. We all did it together. And that is the exact same process that happens with memes. Okay, our second tool is visual semiotics. If social constructivism is the who and the why of meaning, semiotics is the how. It's like the science of science. It gives us the exact words to break down how an image actually works on our brains and gets a message across. So the key takeaway here is that every sign has two parts. First, you've got the signifier. That's the physical thing you see or hear. The picture of the frog or the letters F-R-O-G, it's just data. Then you've got the signified. That's the idea in your head that the signifier points to. You know, the actual concept of a small green amphibian. What semiotics teaches us is that the link between those two things is basically random, which means it can be changed. And this is where it gets really good. Every sign also has two kinds of meaning. You've got denotation. That's the simple, literal dictionary definition. A picture of a frog denotes a frog. Super easy. But then there's connotation. And this is where all the action is. That's the whole web of cultural, emotional, and ideological baggage that we attach to a sign. A frog can connote fairy tales or plagues, or in this case, a very specific internet culture. Connotation is the soft, squishy part of meaning, and it's the perfect target if you want to change what a symbol means to people. Okay, tools acquired. Now let's get back to the story. We're going to take social constructivism and semiotics and apply them to the battle for Pepe, and you'll see with total clarity exactly how his meaning was fought over. So here's the playbook for how it happened. Step 1. Hijacking connotation. Using our new vocabulary, a small but very dedicated online community used social constructivism to build a brand new, hateful connotation and attach it to the Pepe signifier. They just relentlessly spammed images of Pepe with Nazi symbols, and they created this powerful new association inside their own group. Step 2. Mainstream recognition. That new meaning broke out of its bubble when mainstream sources, political campaigns, major news outlets started talking about it. By acknowledging and amplifying this new hateful connotation, they accidentally helped solidify it for millions of people who had never even heard of 4chan. They basically completed the social construction of this new second meaning for a global audience. But the story doesn't end there. And this is so important. Because meaning is socially constructed, it is never set in stone. It is always up for grabs. In 2019, a world away from American politics, pro-democracy protesters in Hong Kong were looking for a symbol. They had no idea about the whole alt-right context. They just saw a popular, expressive cartoon frog, and they adopted him. They transformed Pepe into this powerful symbol of freedom, of youth, of resistance against an authoritarian government. A totally new community, through their own social interactions, built an entirely new, positive connotation for Pepe. And the reaction from the original creator, Matt Fury, it says everything. He was thrilled. He saw it as a reclamation, a way to bring his character back to its roots, a symbol for everyone. Pepe for the people. It just proves that the battle for what a symbol means is never really over. Okay, so for our final section, let's zoom out. The incredible story of this one frog is really a magnifying glass for a process that's happening on a massive scale, with thousands of symbols all the time. Just think about this number for a second. 3,782. That is the current number of official emojis. We are all fluent in a global visual language that has more words than many spoken languages. Every single one of those symbols is a tiny little bucket of meaning that we are constantly defining and redefining with every message we send. And where is this new global language being written? Well, overwhelmingly, it's on visual-first platforms. Take a look at this data. You can see Instagram is a more prominent hub for emoji-based communication than even Facebook. And that makes perfect sense, right? It's a platform built on images where one symbol can do the work of a whole sentence. These platforms are the main workshops where the meaning of our new visual language is getting built, day in and day out. And so, here is the real takeaway. The story of Pepe isn't some weird fluke. It's just a very, very dramatic example of a process that every single one of us is a part of. Every time you send a GIF, or pick an emoji, or share a meme, you are casting a vote. You are participating in the social construction of meaning. You are an author of this constantly changing global visual language. So we're left with this one last thought. Our shared digital space isn't neutral. It's a battleground. It's a dynamic arena where the meaning of the symbols we use is constantly being fought over. What happened to Pepe can happen to any symbol. So the real question isn't just what a symbol means, but what are we making it mean? The language of the internet is being written right now by all of us. What are you adding to the dictionary?